fastest overall of the 4 drivers on his lap. So, Todd, a moment ago when we opened up the broadcast, you mentioned the phrase trimming out. What exactly can a crew chief do to trim out a race car, and what is trimming out?
Well, there's a few things that they can do. Well, some of them at the shop, some of them here at the racetrack. The first thing at the shop is, how do we get, we've got this spoiler on the back of the car, and the spoiler makes a lot of drag. As the air hits it, that's slowing the car down. So we're going to do everything in the body build that we can to get the spoiler as low and as hidden from the air as you look at it from the front. Getting the deck lid low at the spoiler, high at the front of it, getting the roof high at the back of the roof, having that roof up higher so that the air can't come off the roof and get down to the spoiler. We're going to work on all the tolerances. Now, when I say this, we're talking about less than 1/8 of an inch that we're moving these pieces, but we're going to take that tolerance in our favor there. And then once you get to the racetrack, the lower you can get the car, the less drag the bottom of the car, the underwing, they call it, the diffuser, those pieces. If I get the front lower where I shut off the air to it, then the diffuser's not making drag. I'm not making downforce, but I don't need to when I'm in single car trim here. So you'll see these cars kind of bounce around on the shocks because they've gotten them as low as they can. They're actually sitting at times on 3 of the 4 shocks bottomed out riding around this racetrack just to get the car as low as possible and reduce the drag to let the car run faster.
The science of qualifying and racing at Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta is just absolutely amazing. Cody Ware has just taken the green flag to begin his qualifying run. Let's visit with the driver, the most recent driver to win at Talladega Superspeedway. Jason Toy is with him.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. getting ready to jump behind the wheel of his NOS Energy Drink Chevrolet as you get ready to roll. You talked earlier today in your press availability about qualifying in a race for pride. So you're looking for that pride to get here, and that's putting it up on the front row. So what's it take to do that here at Talladega?
We're not looking for the front row.
Yeah.
We're looking for just improvement from where we have been. We've been kind of stuck in the 30s in qualifying, and my guys have been pulling their hair out, just different thing after different thing, trying to find some speed for qualifying. But like I said, our race setup, I don't really want to compromise too much, and neither do they. So we just try and keep our setup similar, and then do some different things qualifying, see if we can make some speed out of our NOS Energy Drink Camaro, and hopefully we do it today. But if we see an improvement of 5-10 spots from where we normally do, I think that would be a huge momentum shift, and my guys would be pumped up about that. So we'll see. You can win from anywhere here, and we've proven that. So we don't let this get us down too much, but I'd like to see it from my guys to get an improvement from where we have been.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. getting ready to qualify here. And the one thing with Ricky, all weekend and every time we see him to come to Talladega, he's got a big old smile on his face because they know they have a car that is capable of winning. Also, too, he gets a chance to run his sprint car across the street for a couple of nights. Although it rained out last night, he's excited about having the opportunity to do that tonight. So he's driving a lot more lately, and we're starting to see a lot more of that excitement coming from Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, he is a driver that is highly capable of getting to the checkered flag first here on the 2.66-mile Talladega Superspeedway. Coming to the line is a fast race car when it comes to qualifying, Mike, here at Talladega.
Todd Gilliland is driving a Front Row Motorsports Ford Mustang. This car has won the pole the last 2 races here at Talladega. Todd Gilliland just put it on the number 1 spot right now. 52.995 seconds, 180.696 miles an hour. The first driver to break that 180-mile-an-hour mark this morning.
Remember, this is only round 1. You have to be the fast 10 once everybody qualifies, and you'll advance to the second round. One of the drivers patiently awaiting his opportunity is Chris Buescher. He's with Steve Post.
Chris is down here just kind of chit-chatting and hanging out with a couple of crew members down here. Chris, as you get ready to go for a qualifying lap, and then Shane rolled by us there. As you get ready to go for a qualifying lap, what types of things are in your mind, in the front of your mind, as far as your task at hand here in just a few moments?
Yeah, nice smooth lap today, talking a lot about shocks and ride quality here. I don't know if it really matters at this point. We're here, but I've been threatened that if I don't hold it wide open, bad things will come from my own team. So that seems fair, right? It's one of those days. Ultimately, I know we've had good speed here at RFK. This TA Mustang will be good to go here. I know we'll race good. Our cars have pushed fantastic. Would take a little hotter weather. We want balance to get bad for others because I feel like we've got really good handling race cars. So. We'll see where it goes, but today's, dare I say, an easy day, right?
An easy day. We'll see how it all fares here in just a few moments. But your owner, Brad Keselowski, 6-time winner here. What types of things has he brought into this organization for this style of racing, and just the confidence in his abilities here? Have you been able to glean from working alongside of him?
Yeah, we're always trying to pick apart everything we can out of him, right? So, we go through all these speedway races. We spend a lot of time focusing on them and making sure that we prepare as much as possible internally, and a lot of that stems from Brad and just wanting to be ready when the moment's there, right? So a lot of film study, a lot of talking about previous races, what we would have done different the last time we were together, whatever it may be. Same thing we do for other places, but it's a little bit more tied together across all of our teams when we go speedway racing.
That's Chris Buescher.
Let's check in with Jason Toy.
Joey Logano sitting down here talking things over with IndyCar's Jack Harvey, who's down here too. And get Joey, 3-time winner here at Talladega. You had a special ceremony yesterday. You got to bring out the sport code. Tell folks about the induction that you had yesterday here at Talladega.
Yeah, it was the Talladega Walk of Fame. It was really special to be inducted into that, and mainly for a few different reasons for me, right? Obviously what Talladega means to our sport is really special, but they started that Walk of Fame after Davey's passing in memory of him, and the Allison family for me is just has been a huge reason why I'm here today. Donnie in particular has taught me a lot on how to drive race cars, but also how to handle things in the sport, and he's still around, right? He still comes by, and I laugh all the time. He always gets his finger and he sticks it into my chest and tells me what I'm doing wrong. So it's nice to have that in the sport, and a Hall of Famer like Donnie is. To be there last night was a real special occasion for sure.
And I knew you were probably hurting on your chest after he poked into it. But hey, let's talk about Talladega. Take folks in the driver's seat. Difference between Daytona and Talladega when it comes to qualifying. What do you got to do here?
Yeah, when it comes to qualifying, it's actually fairly similar. In the race, it's quite a bit different. The track's wider, right? Daytona 3 wide is kind of all you got. Here, you can be 4 wide, as weird as this comes out, pretty comfortably, right? Like you can actually do that for many laps. We've seen that happen here last time, so you're going to see that again, most likely. And so it changes the way the draft works a lot. Handling doesn't come into play as much here as it does at Daytona either, so the draft definitely is different. So wider and more aggressive pushing is probably the 2 things that stand out.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame or the Walk of Fame there. I know there's many more fames coming your way down the road, so congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Joey Logano getting ready to qualify here at Talladega. Place, like I said, 3 times he's found his way to victory lane.
He has. He's a talented driver that understands how to get to victory lane. Todd, as a crew chief, Joey Logano as a driver, you guys had success here.
Yeah, I think I've been here every time he's been to victory lane. I got one more with Ryan Blaney in 2020 as well. Love this place. He talked about it. It's a different creature. When the driver can talk about running comfortably 4 wide at a super speedway, it's a different racetrack.
Question for you about something Chris Buescher said, Todd. It's a cooler day today. When we go racing tomorrow, it's supposed to be 85 degrees. It's 68, cloudy, overcast, and the humidity is not a big deal. Will that affect things today, and if so, how?
It affects speed because that moisture in the air, it makes it denser. It makes it harder to get the air. If you think about running through the water at the beach, I'd rather run on the beach than run down in the water because you're having to push your way through the water. When the air is really moist and humid like this, it's the same thing. You're having to push a hole into the air. It's more resistance to the cars. I don't think that we'll see the cars have the speed that they did last fall in today's conditions. Tomorrow will be a different thing. We're supposed to see in the 80s, partly sunny. Chris Buescher may get his wish in having a little bit more handling show up at the racetrack.
And let's clarify that Todd Gordon will be the only one of the MRN crew running on the beach. We all will engage in a slow mosey. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Get ready. The 3rd annual NASCAR Day Give-a-thon is just days away. Join us on May 13th to support hundreds of nonprofit organizations across the country to raise much-needed funds for their missions. When you give to the NASCAR Day Give-a-thon, you will be eligible for some special incentive prizes and matching donation opportunities to make the most of your gift. Visit NASCARDayGiveathon.org and learn how you can join us. That's NASCARDayGiveathon.org.
You're not going to want to miss tonight's county fair. I'm going to be...
We are your window to your community.
Did you see the last 5 minutes of that football game last night?
Oh, man, I saw the whole thing.
And a lifeline to keep you safe when danger is near.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can. This is one of the biggest storms.
We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. 9 cars have qualified so far of the 39 that will take time today. Cole Custer, quickest so far, 52.941 seconds, 180.881 miles an hour. Todd Gilliland is second. Ty Dillon is third. Daniel Suarez is fourth. Anthony Alfredo is fifth. Cody Ware, Shane Van Gisbergen, BJ McLeod, and JJ Yaley, those drivers in positions 6 through 9.
There was some news in the NASCAR world this week that caught a lot of people off guard, and that was out of the Spire Motorsports camp, specifically with the Justin Haley car that Haley drives, the Gainbridge-sponsored Spire Chevrolet, and then crew chief Rodney Childers. I say then if you're not aware of what happened this week. Spire Motorsports and Rodney Childers mutually agreed to part ways, effective immediately. And that means they've elected to go back to Ryan Sparks, who's been overseeing the competition at Spire. He had been the crew chief. He's gone back now atop the box. He will handle both duties. But mutually agreeing to part ways with Rodney Childers, a championship-winning crew chief at Spire, I think is something that caught just about everybody off guard that was not in the know.
Not saying that it's related. However, that car that we're describing had challenges getting through inspection yesterday. It took them 3 times to get through inspection. They have. The car is on the grid, and Steve Post is with the driver.
Yeah, and Justin is down here, and you referenced getting reunited with Ryan Sparks. They actually raced here at Talladega last fall. So when you look at this, Justin, getting a familiar new voice on the radio and working on it, how good is this that maybe this is Talladega, the first race, so you guys get back up to speed with all the communications?
I mean, I feel like we got pretty good depth at Spire Motorsports, so anywhere where it would have happened probably would have been okay, but yeah, excited to be here at Talladega. Hopefully we got a fast number 7 Cambridge Chevrolet and put down a lap here and go racing tomorrow.
We'll see what happens as far as the race goes tomorrow. What is the mindset, though, when you get ready to go racing here at Talladega? You know you're going to be in the middle. You know there's some things in your control, and you know there's a lot of things out of your control. How do you prepare with a week coming up to Talladega, or is it just something you do?
You know, you can either ride or race, and we're going to race this weekend. So, yeah, we're going to try to get stage points, get as much points as possible, and see what happens at the end.
Absolutely. Let's see, that's for sure. Stage points available again to Stage 1 and Stage 2. Those are very valuable. That is Justin Haley, and he is reunited with Ryan Sparks calling the shots here. Also see familiar face Matt McCall from the competition department kind of hanging out down here as well. So lots of veterans down here with Justin Haley with his team.
Some shake-up at the top of the leaderboard here early in the opening round of qualifying. Cole Custer's going to the top of the leaderboard. Todd Gilliland is second. Ty Dillon is third. And then the 2311 Toyota of Riley Herbst is gone to position number 4. His teammate is Bubba Wallace, and he is standing with Jason Toy.
Yeah, he's getting ready to jump behind the wheel of his white and purple Toyota Camry here and go qualifying at Talladega for Bubba. Your teammate just went in the top 5 up there in Riley Herbst. I know this is a special place. You get to come back home and run here in front of the home crowd. So what is it like when you walk back through that tunnel here at Talladega every time?
You know, it's always good. Talladega's been a really good track for us, so you never know with qualifying now. Riley put up a good lap. I think they were all surprised, so that brings some excitement for me, but nothing's ever the same. So we'll see. We just have to go out and execute our shift points, launch good, and lay down a good clean lap, but all in all, just go out and have some fun.
All right, with no practice when you come in here, you jump in and go out and, like to say, grip it and rip it or whatever to get out there. But setting that thing up for the race itself, are you more qualifying? Or you already set up ready to go race?
Well, we're allowed to do so many different qualifying adjustments, so it drives totally different. This is probably one of the worst driving race cars that we'll have here at Talladega for today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow will be totally easy.
All right, have fun.
All right, thank you.
Bubba Wallace getting ready to qualify at Talladega.
Wallace, a former Talladega winner, getting ready to get queued up here. Alex Bowman has just put in the third fastest lap, 53.083 seconds, 180.397 miles an hour. Eric Jones is on the racetrack right now. He's bringing his car through turns 3 and 4. Michael McDowell queued up ready to go, along with Zane Smith, Noah Gragson, John Hunter Nemechek, and last fall's winner, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. How about Alex, a driver that's won on restrictor plate or drafting tracks before?
And Austin Dillon, he's a talented race car driver, knows how to get the job done. Steve Post is standing alongside him on the pit lane.
He absolutely is. Has the Bass Pro Shops Club colors on, a camouflage car for Austin Dillon. What's it like coming down here in a 3-car to Talladega, Austin?
Oh, it's usually fun, man, especially when you put it out front. You see the fans really get excited, and, you know, we've got a great partner with, like you said, Bass Pro Shops, Winchester on the side of this thing, and want to go rip around here, put a good lap down, and I get to call the ARCA race today, so watch a little racing.
What's that perspective like calling from the booth? Do you learn things? Do you see things from the booth when you've done that before?
The ARCA race is fun to watch in general because you never know what you're going to see. Usually new things are created during that race. But, yeah, you know, and then we got the Xfinity cars, RCR cars showed up yesterday really fast. So I'll be tuning into that, see what they do. And the Cup racing is quite a bit different now than the other series. So hard to pull much from it. But you never know what happens.
Absolutely, that is for sure. And if you're not joined Austin watching the broadcast of the ARCA Menard Series, Motor Racing Network has coverage 11:30 local time, 12:30 Eastern time. You can follow along and see what Austin and the rest of the world see here at Talladega with the ARCA Menard Series later on this morning.
We'll bring you live coverage of the General Tire 200. Looking forward to that. Always the ARCA cars put on a great show. Of course, the NASCAR Xfinity Series coming up later today with the Ag Pro 300. We are with you for the rest of the afternoon and early evening hours live here from Talladega.
Bumping has begun out of the top 10. Michael McDowell just goes to the number 2 spot. Good lap for Michael McDowell. So right now the top 10 are Cole Custer, Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland, Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, Daniel Suarez, Anthony Alfredo, Cody Ware, and Eric Jones. Bumped out of the top 10 and will not go to the next round. Shane Van Gisbergen, BJ McLeod, and JJ Yaley.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Talladega Superspeedway is the venue for the NASCAR Cup Series and the Jack Links 500. We welcome you into our live coverage of qualifying for the race tomorrow. We are here with the NASCAR Cup cars, the Xfinity cars, the ARCA Menard Series, a very busy weekend of racing. Motor Racing Network has coverage for you of it all. Mike Bagley here, along with Alex Hayden, Todd Gordon topside, Steve Post, Jason Toyd trackside, as we are 13 cars into qualifying. Cole Custer, the fastest so far, with Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland, Alex Bowman, and Ty Dillon, the fast 5. 13 of 39 have taken time so far.
You mentioned Michael McDowell. Oh, here's a fast car. Zane Smith goes to the top of the leaderboard. Zane Smith takes over the number 1 spot. Cole Custer falls to second. You mentioned Michael McDowell out of the Spire Motorsports shop. Well, his teammate is Carson Hocevar. Let's hear from him now.
Well, he's got one of the great colors here on the side of the car with chilies, and always makes for one of the great fire suits, too, because it turns into a cowboy kind of design with a big old buckle across it. The driving suit has got the jeans, he's got the cowboy hats on, and I know you love wearing the funny hats and everything before. Now you get the opportunity to really wear it with the cowboy hat with this get up. So as you get ready to qualify, what's going through your mind here?
Yeah, not a whole lot going through my mind other than just don't miss my shift. I get it really. It's an off week for me in terms of I can't really add to it. I can only mess it up, right? So yeah, it's the less stressed I've ever been for qualifying, super speedway qualifying. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Ride the Dente 77 hot rod's been fast. Our 77's been fast even when they're not on the car, but we were super fast last week. So yeah, I don't expect a lot out of this qualifying lap. Atlanta's so different. We were really good at Atlanta, but I'm going to just try and hold it wide open in qualifying and see if it works. I think it will. And then in the race, I'm going to try and hold it wide open while everybody else is going like 30, 40%. And see what happens, and hopefully I get a yellow or I'll be down pit road.
All right, there you go. Carson Hocevar broke down the entire weekend for us there in about 30 seconds.
You got it, buddy. Carson Hocevar, the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year, going to try to put in a fast lap here in just a moment. Right now, everybody is chasing Zane Smith. Back to Steve Post.
We talk a lot about different paint schemes and different looks and different things, and I understand this is radio, but Josh Berry has the iconic Wood Brothers number 21, the gold foil numbers on it. Josh, Josh, we understand the nature of the sport, a lot of different paint schemes and everything, but what's it like when you get to climb into this red, white, with a little blue trim gold foil number 21 car?
Yeah, no, it's always special, right? Just the 75 years of the Wood Brothers, man, it's so cool to be a part of, and they've had such a long history in this sport that every time you get to show up to the racetrack with these guys, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun for sure. Talladega, how do you prepare for a race weekend at Talladega? What types of things did you look at, did you think about as you get ready to go? Probably more tomorrow than today with this qualifying run.
Yeah, I think today's just about going and doing all the right things that we're supposed to do on a qualifying lap. It's pretty simple, but you can mess it up pretty easy if you're not prepared. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be interesting. Really tried to look at what we had at Atlanta and how I worked with my teammates there and learn from that, and just continue to work with those guys and put myself in good position at the end, right? I think that's the biggest thing you can do here is just try to manage your day the best you can and hopefully find yourself in the first couple rows towards the end and give yourself a chance.
Hey, we'll see what happens. That Wood Brothers car always looks good, and boy, it looks good at the front of the field. Todd Gordon, I want to kind of piggyback on something he said. Teammates working together on that. How critical is that here at Talladega? And what kind of goes on in the race shops? What kind of discussions do you guys have on that when you're within a team like you were with Penske Racing, with Team Penske, that is?
Yeah, it's not just teammates, it's manufacturer mates. And you try to put alliances together that you have confidence in as you come forward. So, obviously drafting is something that plays big here, and being organized and having trust in somebody not hanging you out can allow you to be faster and make your moves through the track. It is important to have your teammates and people that you trust. And when you see that, we really talk about to make maximum speed at a place like Talladega, you got to have 6, 7, 8 cars in a line. You only have 3, maybe 4 total in a team. So you're going to find manufacturer mates that have a common goal, a lot of discussion coming into the weekend, putting things together and having a plan of how you try to all the situations that can present themselves, how you're going to handle those, where they come off pit road, and how organized you can be. It definitely is a different strategy to racing, definitely here at Talladega and Daytona.
It's fun to see how things evolve and how race teams and drivers adapt to the ever-changing landscape of how you race here at Talladega Superspeedway. Kyle Busch is a driver that knows how to race here. He's won twice here at Talladega, and he's standing alongside Jason Toy.
Well, he knows how to get the job done here at Talladega, and Kyle Busch getting ready to jump behind the wheel of his Chevrolet here and continuing to get this team moving in the right direction here with KB. They got Zone on the sponsorship. Kyle, let's talk a little bit about racing here at Talladega. I know you've seen it all. You've been through it all here. So when you go out for qualifying now, is it more of just a mental game on the qualifying?
Literally, it's just I'm here for the zone today, just to go out there and get a lap in, and maybe we make it to the second round in order to put another lap down, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So all in all, just you kind of look forward to these races because this is RCR's stomping grounds, the super speedway stuff, and we've been really good at these things. We missed the wreck, and we have a really good shot at winning. So cars are fast. Our Chevrolets really take to these places well, and looking forward to our Chevy this weekend.
All right, away from racing, you guys had the off week last week. I know you got a little vacation in. You were busy with the Charity Foundation, but you got 28 straight weeks to go from here. So how important was that off time and that family time for you guys?
It was good. It was nice. It's something that you kind of wish that you got a couple of during the year. We used to always, the 2-week off week was badass. That was the most fun, right? But, yeah, take them when you can get them. So happy to get Easter off and have Easter at home and spend time, chasing eggs with the Easter Bunny and things like that. So, that is what it is, but now you just kind of try to set into the rhythm of not getting burned out for the 28 weeks in a row and make sure that you feel good the whole way through.
All right, feel good this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Kyle Busch qualifying. He knows how to find victory lane, and I know for this team, they desperately would love to get a victory. This could be the place to do it.
Well, for you Kyle Busch fans, here's a stat of the day for you. After off weekends, Kyle Busch has won the first race back 7 times. And I know victories have been lean for that 8-car and Kyle Busch. Perhaps maybe fingers will be crossed and Kyle Busch will be able to find his way back to victory lane and ultimately get a berth into the playoffs because of it.
I think it would be a wildly popular win. Absolutely would. Kyle Busch has been one of those drivers that has had a bit of a resurgence. After he left Joe Gibbs Racing, went to Richard Childress Racing, it almost seemed like there was a change among race fans as well. When Kyle Busch has been humbled just a bit, I think, and a lot of that comes with growing up and getting more mature as an individual, your family around you as well. But Kyle Busch now gets far more cheers at driver introductions than he does boos. He rarely gets booed anymore.
Yeah, he's become popular. And I think I'm going to add one more piece to it. I think Brexton Racing has actually forced Kyle Busch into maturing into a position to lead his kid the way he wants to. I think he's been great right along, but I think he's continued to kind of mature into a racer that the fan base really connects with and gets a lot of enthusiasm out of.
Kyle Busch getting set to qualify along with others. Brad Keselowski just turned in the 8th fastest lap, 180.207 miles an hour. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Tickets now at mispeedway.com.
Hey guys, Corley Joy here. Make sure you catch Stag and Pennies on all the NASCAR platforms each week. We talk to some of our greatest drivers, winners, relevant stories. You never know who's going to show up.
Hall of Famers, everything. And you're going to get the best race highlights, the best content, the best scanner audio, the best reactions, and by far the best pit road breakdowns of any other podcast. Corey, where can they hear us?
You can find us on NASCAR on Tubi, SiriusXM Channel 90, wherever you find your podcasts, or on YouTube. Go check us out.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We continue with pole qualifying for the Jack Links 500, brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. Stuck in slow motion? Unleash the NASCAR fire inside your engine with E3 Spark Plugs. Forget pit stops, too. E3 gives you maximum fuel efficiency for more miles on the road and less time at the pump. E3 Spark Plugs. Power, speed, domination. Get yours today.
39 cars are on the property set to qualify here today. You got to be part of the fastest 10 to go to the second round to have a shot at pole position. The driver scheduled to go out 30th is Chase Elliott. He's with Jason Toy.
New colors adorn the Chevrolet here for Chase Elliott today, carrying the Amazon Prime colors here, along with a little bit of Napa mixed in too. And Chase, you get ready to roll here at Talladega. I know you're busy. You're up in New York City earlier this week promoting this race. So what's it like preparing to come into Talladega like this and knowing what you got ahead of you?
Yeah, it's just normal speedway, stuff at this point. But it's been good. This is always a crazy race, but a great environment, here for the fans to watch. And I think that's the draw, right? And excited to be a part of it. Hope we can stay on the good end of things this weekend and have a shot here at the end of this deal.
All right, kicks off 28 straight weeks, though. How do you not burn yourself out in those 28 weeks?
Well, you just keep showing up, man. It's not, it's just part of life. It's, we're really lucky to do what we do, truthfully. So, it's not something that I'm going to complain about because this is, an incredible way to make a living and, call it a job, number one. And, number two, it could be a hell of a lot worse. So I'm proud to be here and looking forward to however many they want to do.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Chase Elliott getting ready to roll.
Chase Elliott with the Amazon Prime colors on his Chevrolet this weekend. Joey Logano has just taken the green flag. Let's chat with A.J. Allmendinger as he gets set to lace up for his lap.
AJ Allmendinger down here looking over a few things here. AJ, as we get ready to go, I want to step back just a little bit. The off weekend, the family, what was life like with one final off weekend Easter around the Allmendinger household?
It was great because we went to my parents' house, and Arrow James got to open a lot of Easter eggs that had a lot of Hot Wheels in it. So it's my parents' problem now that he thinks every time he goes over there should be Easter eggs with Hot Wheels in it. But no, it was nice. Just kind of relaxed. No traveling. Watched Rockingham. Those are some good races. And, yeah, got our last and first off weekend in at the same time.
No doubt about it. Talladega up first. What's your thoughts as you get ready to go into this 28-race stretch, and how important is this first one at Talladega to continue some of the momentum you guys have had going into the break?
Yeah, Steve, I mean, I think they're all important, right? Like, one doesn't mean more than the other. It's Talladega. Anything can happen. I'd love to be able to get through this race and have a good finish. We've had good momentum over the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think the next stretch of racetrack's 1.5 miles, so we can be pretty good at. But, yeah, we know how this place goes. I'm decent at super speedway racing. I don't like it, but I hate letting my guys down more. So if it's we got to go stick it 5 wide at the end of the race and do something dumb, we probably will.
I'm sure he will. That is AJ Allmendinger. 5 wide and something dumb. Well, it sounds like a plan. Tune in, folks, to Motor Racing Network tomorrow and see if they do that here tomorrow.
That's got AJ Allmendinger written all over.
Sounds like a name of a podcast in the making there. 5 wide and do something dumb. I actually kind of like that. Todd's giving me the look and the laugh here, but
yeah, no, I like it. I feel like we could put 5 people together to do that, and they're probably above us right now.
Wow.
Sorry, taken. All right, Zane Smith is the fastest during qualifying. 52.661 seconds, 181.842 miles an hour. Chris Buescher is second. Joey Logano has put in the 3rd fastest lap. Well, now it all changes. Ryan Preece just goes to the 2nd spot. Buescher to 3rd. Logano to 4th. Cole Custer is 5th. Michael McDowell 6th. Todd Gilliland 7th. Alex Bowman is 8th. Ty Dillon 9th. And Brad Keselowski right now the final driver inside of the top 10.
Riley Herbst has been bumped out of the top 10. He's 11th. Daniel Suarez is 12th, and Noah Gragson 13th. John Hunter Nemechek is 14th. Anthony Alfredo, the first car to roll today, is 15th. Cody Ware is 16th. Eric Jones 17th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 18th. Shane Van Gisbergen 19th. B.J. McLeod 20th, and J.J. Yaley is 21st.
In case you missed it earlier, we discussed the departure of Rodney Childers from Spire Motorsports. Ryan Sparks hopping into the crew chief role for the rest of the year. Justin Haley, the driver of that car, is on the racetrack right now. Alex, he has just taken the green flag and is working halfway down the backstretch.
So while he does that, let's hear from Ross Chastain, who patiently awaits to get his qualifying lap. He's with Jason.
Well, he's got the red, white, and blue colors here with the jockey emblems on either side. All right, you come to a track, we always hear, you always try to control what you can control. What can you control at a track like Talladega?
How loud it is down here on pit road, Jason. It's everybody's idling their cars and taking turns, trying to get the heat right and the water temperature and oil temperature right. For our jockey Chevy today, it's about what Trackhouse did and the effort that GM and Chevrolet and the Trackhouse group, what we were able to build. As long as I put it in the right gear and hold the pedal on the right, then my work really comes in tomorrow.
I know the race setup you guys work on, and we'll transition to that later on. Do you do a lot more sim work on just qualifying here, since you got to jump in and just go right at with no practice?
There's actually no sim
really?
For us for Talladega, for the super speedways. We can't simulate the draft good enough yet with the technology to make it real. So, yep, this is all for them to do. The drivers have zero input at Trackhouse for this kind of stuff at super speedways. I left Bristol. I road tripped through Georgia to Florida and back to here, and I haven't been back to North Carolina since I left for Bristol at I think Thursday or something. So definitely, I've enjoyed my week off and spent time with my family, and the sim will be ready for me this Tuesday to get ready for Texas.
You did some farming, I'm sure, right?
We're picking up a lot of Florida watermelons right now. Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Ross Chastain, get ready to jump in here. And good-looking red, white, and blue American flag jockey Chevrolet for him here to qualify at Talladega.
I love how Ross started that out. We're controlling making noise down here, and all these guys running the cars down here. Just to explain that, as a crew chief that used to be down there, you want the water cool, but you want the oil temperature to stay hot. And we've got gallons of oil in these cars. It's 5 or 6 gallons. So you're trying to fire it up and keep pushing that oil, that warm oil back in and get the oil temperature up, because 10 degrees on oil temperature can be time on the stopwatch when we go to qualify. The oil temperature gaining a little bit more is a bigger deal if you can keep your water temp in reason, as these cars are. So that's part of the whole philosophy of trying to find speed on qualifying day, getting all your temperatures correct.
Ross Chastain trying to do that. Everybody trying to do that right now. By the way, Ross has come to life here in about the last month or so. He's got a total of 4 top 10 finishes in the last 5 races. The most recent, 6th at Martinsville, 7th at Darlington, 7th at Bristol. Perhaps maybe they have found a little something on that Chevrolet.
Maybe. And he's got a win here at Talladega Superspeedway. He did that back in 2022 in the month of April as well. So I agree. When you think about Trackhouse Racing, Mike, this is a team I think that has stumbled coming out of the starting block, if you will. A 3-car organization along with Chastain, with Daniel Suarez, Shane Van Gisbergen. But for Ross Chastain to start to pick that momentum up, and getting the sponsorship money that they have with Busch Light, now Jockey on the car, there's a lot of pressure to perform every week in the NASCAR Cup Series. But when you come out of the start and really kind of struggle finding your footing, yeah, they have flashes of great runs. Yeah, they have flashes of brilliance here and there, but they're yet, in my opinion, to put together a completely consistent 3 to 4, 5 race stretch as an entire organization.
Of course, he's doing all that. He talked about being on the farm. Had a chance to visit with him last week. Spent some time on the farm, which is on the west side of Florida. All of South Florida is in a drought right now. We're about 4 to 5 inches below on the water table. He's proud of his Florida watermelons, and he's going to be our analyst for the truck race at North Wilkesboro. He has promised to bring one of those delicious watermelons to the broadcast booth.
And we're welcoming that for sure. You look forward to having Ross with us here on the Motor Racing Network and the NASCAR Racing Network at the North Wilkesboro Speedway coming up in the month of May. As we roll on in the opening round of qualifying, you've got Roush Yates Horsepower occupying 7 of the top 8 positions, including the top 6, with Zane Smith still the fastest. Bubba Wallace is now in the number 10 spot, put himself squarely on the bubble to try to make it to the next round.
Bubba Wallace, the highest qualifying Toyota so far. Chase Briscoe, who also drives a Toyota, would love to change that. Chase is with Steve Post.
We'll see what happens with Chase here, as he is still probably 8 or 10 cars away from going with his qualifying run. But as we look at it, Chase, you're 9 races into your tenure here at Joe Gibbs Racing. Actually had a pretty good couple of weeks there along the way. How are things going now that you've had a little chance to reset, a little break, and get ready to go for the stretch drive here?
Yeah, I mean, they've been good. I feel like we still have a lot to do to grow. You know, truthfully, I feel like all of us would agree that we're not on 100% yet, and our results have still been really, really good. So that's encouraging for sure, but know that we have a lot to learn still and get better at. So yeah, looking forward to today or tomorrow, and then obviously the 28-week stretch ahead of us for our Bass Pro Shops Toyota. So yeah, a lot of learning to do, but it's a lot of potential there as well.
You've spent a couple of years in the Ford camp. Here at Toyota, you got new teammates, and teammates are so important at a place like Talladega. What's the get-acquainted process? Maybe not off the racetrack goes, but knowing the tendencies of your Toyota teammates you're going to need to work with here tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm still learning that. Daytona, I got a little bit of a read on it, but, a lot of that stuff just takes time, building that trust, not only me trusting them, but also them trusting me. So it's going to be something that we're just continue to get better at and learn. Obviously tomorrow we're getting a lot of practice of that as well. So, yeah, that's continually getting better and better. As you run with teammates, the more you run with them, the more you can learn to trust them and just know their tendencies even. So, yeah, it's a learning process.
Continuing to get better and better. I think that describes where Chase Briscoe is at right now.
He mentioned getting better with his teammates. One of his teammates is Denny Hamlin. He's with Jason Toy.
Yeah, Denny getting ready to jump behind the wheel of that progressive Toyota. And Denny, let's talk a little bit about momentum for you guys. You've had a heck of a great last month and a half, 2 months of racing. Did the off time come at a good time or a bad time to keep that momentum going?
The sport is so week to week that, momentum, yeah, I mean, we're on a really good momentum swing right now. But I feel like it's just so week to week. Like every Monday it kind of just resets on you, and so you just never know. And certainly, if you ever want a momentum breaker, this is a track that can do it, or a good momentum if you finish well. So, and usually, but it's on the bad side of it. So, if we we can get through this weekend and keep that momentum, then maybe we could sustain this for a little while longer.
All right, how do you control the beast that is Talladega?
Yeah, I mean, just try to do the best you can to stay up front as much as you can while saving as much fuel as you can. It's such a compromise, but, you know, if you ask me, I would say I just want to run 100% and let the chips fall where they may. So, you know, maybe we'll have some different strategy to try to counter that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Denny Hamlin getting ready to qualify.
Well, one of the cars that he owns is on the racetrack right now, the purple and white Xfinity Mobile Toyota Camry. Tyler Reddick at the controls. A lap ago, Austin Dillon just turned in the 4th fastest lap. He is behind Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric. Here comes here comes Tyler Reddick down through the tri-oval, and let's see what Tyler Reddick can do on his lap as he sees the checkered flag waving.
Trying to get to the top 10 to have a shot at the second round. He will not get there. 16th is where he ends up right now in qualifying out of the 27 drivers that have taken time. Up next will be Kyle Busch as he's now rolling out onto the racetrack.
On the racetrack comes Kyle Busch as we go trackside and hear from another Talladega winner with Steve Post.
In fact, he's a 3-time winner at Talladega, is Ryan Blaney. Ryan, when we look at your season, speed has been awesome. Results up until the last few weeks have not been all that good, although you have a couple top 5 finishes here over the last couple weeks. How welcome is Talladega, a place we've had so much success on the schedule for you guys next?
Yeah, it's, you know, when you come to Talladega and like these speedways, we've run really well. At these places, Fords are always fast, and our group does a great job of kind of preparing and working together, and that's kind of the big name of the game at these places, and you just hope to survive it, you know, and find yourself in a shot to capitalize at the end of this thing. And this place has been pretty fortunate to me over the years. Hopefully we can find more good fortune, something that we haven't really had much this year. But maybe we'll turn it around at this place. But, yeah, it's been, honestly, I think it's been a pretty good year despite our issues. I've been proud of the effort that we've been having. Just a matter of keep trucking along.
How has this style of racing evolved over the last few years? And I know we talk a lot about fuel mileage as far as that goes, but the overall general sense and feel of plate racing, used to be called plate racing, super speed racing, how has it evolved?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved a good bit. You know, car to car, different packages. It just changes, but you have to change with it, you know, and that's the name of the game. And yeah, I mean, like you said, you know, we talk about fuel saving a lot in the first start of the stages, and it's just how does everyone approach that, right? How do you approach where you want to kind of plant yourself? How much fuel do you want to save versus going and getting track position, and you know, what do you want to do on the pit stop? So it is a little bit different, but that is what it is. I feel like the best teams and drivers have been able to adapt themselves to, you know, kind of this is what this style is now, and so you always have to keep evolving. But yeah, I don't even think it's new anymore. You know, we've done it for a handful of years now, so it's just the norm, and I'm sure it'll just continue to keep changing. And that's the name of the sport.
The name of the sport for sure. That's Ryan Blaney.
He is looking forward to trying to get back to victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. The last 2 races last year here, not so kind to Ryan. 20th and 39th place finishes for Blaney.
Right now in qualifying, we got 7 Fords in the top 10, and we may be about to have another one. Here's Josh Berry and the Wood Brothers Ford Mustang. Out of 4 into the tri-oval. Here's Josh hugging that double yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. He, too, sees the checkered flag waving at the start-finish line.
And we'll find out exactly where he'll fall in line. It would be 6th fastest for Josh Berry, so he'll bump Todd Gilliland out of the top 10. Tough break for Gilliland. He started 3rd here the last 2 Talladega races. From Talladega Super Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Hey folks, Kyle Petty here. Victory Junction is celebrating 20 incredible years of camp for children with serious medical conditions. And the best part? Because of the generosity of friends from around the world, camp is completely free for the families we serve. Make your gift today at victoryjunction.org/donate and be a part of something truly special. Together we can make a difference for kids and gear up for even more unforgettable experiences.
Pole qualifying for tomorrow's Jack Links 500 is brought to you on MRN by E3 Spark Plugs. Powerful and fuel efficient. Find E3 at your nearest auto parts store.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty of the first round of qualifying, we've got 10 cars left to go. We've got Chase Elliott, A.J. Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Jason Toy is with the final driver to take time in round one.
Yeah, it's going to be Kyle Larson as he gets ready to get behind the wheel of his Chevrolet and HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. And real quick, before you jump in, let's talk about the week that was for you guys. You enjoyed WrestleMania. You were out there and practicing at the Indy as well. So what's the last week been like?
Yeah, it's been a bit busy, but typical, I guess, for me. So, yeah, no, it was fun. Do some racing at Knoxville, then go to WrestleMania, get in the IndyCar, win an outlaw race last night, and then back here today. So, yeah, it didn't, I guess, necessarily feel like an off weekend for me, but either way, had fun with the family, and glad to be back here in our HendrickCars.com Chevy.
All right, how do you qualify here?
I don't know. Alex is, 10th or 12th, 13th now, so probably around there.
All right, there you go. Kyle Larson getting ready to roll out here. He'll be the last to qualify today.
Be a driver I think a lot of people are going to pay close attention to when it comes to qualifying on the super speedways. Todd Gordon, you got to think about Hendrick Motorsports horsepower, which typically has a lot, but how about the Earnhardt Childress engines and RCR? Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon right now, 3rd and 5th respectively, but everybody else has got Roush Yates horsepower. Doug Yates and everybody at Roush Yates horsepower puts a lot of pride into their engines no matter where we race, but it seems like it's a little different when you come to Talladega.
This is more special. This is just it goes back in their heritage, their lineage. I mean, you go back to Robert Yates and what he could do here. We can go back to, this was Davey. This is the Allison area. I mean, this was a big deal for that 28 car for Robert Yates. It's a big deal for Doug Yates. I mean, Speedway racing is where he really feels like he shows the most because it's on the engines and those guys. And the Fords have done a good job. I think as they put their body together, they've got a little bit of an aero advantage. They've got Doug doing a great job. Last year, both Talladega races, we saw 6 Fords transfer to the second round of qualifying. Both of those races, I think we're up for about that number again this time.
Whenever I have a conversation with Doug Yates and we talk about drafting tracks, it used to be plate races. All you have to do is mention the name of the track, and all of a sudden you get a smile a mile wide on Doug Yates. There is pride, and there's also a lot of motivation for them to keep that legacy alive as far as the Roush Yates Engines program is concerned.
It is. It's a special place for that whole program. The one piece I want to go on a sideline here, we haven't seen a Joe Gibbs racing car qualify yet. All 4 of their cars are yet to run. Obviously, the 19 car won the pole at Daytona. Going to be interesting to see whether the JGR cars, how much speed they bring into this qualifying. That may be a different story by the end of this qualifying session.
19 car being Chase Briscoe won the pole for the Daytona 500. And the highest qualified Toyota at the moment out of 2311 stables is Bubba Wallace. He's currently 13th. Chase Elliott, Mike, just got his qualifying lap in.
And it was a disappointing lap for Chase. 22nd of the 30 cars that have taken time so far, 53.345 seconds, 179.511 miles per hour. There's a lot of work left to be done. However, the car may not have qualified that well, but Alex, it never fails. Whenever we race at Talladega, that car always bubbles up to the surface, and the fans in these grandstands let them know it. That's a very pro-Elliott crowd here that will be here for tomorrow, and Chase Elliott will find his way to the front of this pack in one form or fashion.
Yeah, I think that is something that can be counted on as we wait and see A.J. Allmendinger as he comes down to the line. Allmendinger in the Colleague Racing Grizzly Chevrolet. It's a green and black car with the familiar Colleague yellow number on the top of it. Checkered flag is out. Allmendinger will be 13th. And Steve Post, that means that Zane Smith, who's certainly the fastest right now as of this moment, will indeed be part of the final round of qualifying.
Zane Smith is going to be part of the final round, comes with Front Row Motorsports. Zane, first and foremost, front row qualifying at these big racetracks. What's it like just coming here knowing you're in one of these cars that has a shot at it?
Yeah, it always makes it just a little bit more exciting to know you're in a Ford, and especially a front row one. So they always bring just a ton of speed. So just a huge shout out to them for the pieces that they bring, and they race really good too. So hopefully tomorrow goes really well for us. Looks like we're gonna have a shot at the pole. So yeah, another round here coming up. So hopefully put together another good lap.
You walked over to me and said, I wish I had much to do with it. We all understand this is about the team and the prep. How much pride, though, is there in not messing it up on the first round and being able to deliver this car in the condition they gave it to you in?
Yeah, I mean, my job really comes in, I guess, tomorrow, right? But there are things that are up to me in qualifying, and that's for the first half of the lap, getting through my shifts, and then they had said that my up to speed was pretty strong. So obviously that's a lot of it's the speed of the car, but knowing that you hit your marks from the shift point side is always is nice to hear. So hopefully I do that again and get them a pole.
We shall see what happens. He's going to run for the pole position. That is Zane Smith.
Ty Gibbs has just wrapped up his qualifying effort, the first Joe Gibbs Racing entry. And Alex, he's inside of the top 10, but not by much.
No, he's in the number 9 spot, so it's going to be a bit of a waiting game for Ty Gibbs and the rest of that team to see how everything shakes out. Right now, Cole Custer is the driver on the bubble, next driver on the racetrack. In the Jockey Chevrolet, we heard from him a moment ago, Ross Chastain is on the track.
Ross Chastain will be the 33rd of the 39 cars to qualify. And if you're just joining us here on Super Speedways, we will give everybody one lap, then the top 10 will be siphoned off, and then they will go again, and the fastest of those 10 will lead the field to the green flag tomorrow in the Jack Links 500. On the racetrack right now, we mentioned Ross Chastain, who is going to come to the checkered flag here. Chase Briscoe is pulling on to the racetrack while we check in with Jason Toy.
Ryan Preece getting ready to go to the next round of qualifying here in just a bit. Currently number 2 up on the board there. And all right, love-hate relationship when it comes to super speedway racing, and especially here at Talladega. What's it for you?
I love it. I just hate the fact that I keep leaving the ground every time I'm at them. But no, I mean, this Celsius Ford Mustang that RFK brought is obviously it's got some good speed. So obviously we're gonna see. Hopefully, I think we just locked ourselves into the next round. So try and push it a little bit more and see if we can get a pole. All
right, going back and looking at your run, did you see something in video you might say, okay, I need to get a little bit closer to the line on this one to go back out and try to go for that pole?
Just be smooth with the hands. That's it.
There you go. Ryan Preece, the Priest, going to be smooth with the hands. He's looking for that pole here at Talladega.
Yeah, he's got to go out and run another lap here in just a little while. We got to finish everybody here in Group 1 to start with, and then the Fast 10 will go back out and run a single lap again. When they go out and do that, Todd, we talk about this in the old qualifying format when we had 2 rounds of qualifying and take the top 10 to run for the pole before this year at all the tracks that we did this at. For Talladega, is there a disadvantage to these tires to go back out a second time at a track like Talladega?
I don't think there is. You're not really, as we talked about, as Joey Logano talked about, 4 wide is normal here. Handling isn't that big a deal like it in an intermediate track when we used to do this. The hotter tires, the scuffed tires, they don't have quite as much grip. We wouldn't see as much speed. Actually, I think you'll see the speeds pick up just a fuzz here at Talladega. And because of part of what we talked about earlier, the oil temperature is going to be hotter. That's had a run on it, so it got even hotter. All those pieces of kind of heat soaked on that side, they'll cool the water down, and then they'll be in a position where they can go, they've got a little more temperature in it. The hubs have got a little more temperature. The grease is a little thinner. So we actually can get a little bit faster on the second round of qualifying here at Talladega.
Chase Briscoe just turned in the 13th fastest lap, 53.061, 180.472 miles an hour. 5 cars to go. Alex, that means Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, and Austin Dillon are locked into the next round of qualifying.
Yeah, that means both Richard Childress Racing Chevrolets are locked in at the moment. So good effort for RCR here in qualifying here for the Jack Links 500 as Richard Childress hanging out down on the pit lane. Let's go to Steve Post.
It is always good to see Richard Childress. And Richard, What's it like for you to come to Talladega Superspeedway? You have had so many great memories at this place.
Yeah, it started out in 1969. I ran here myself when they had the boycott. It was the biggest break I had. Helped me move on to the next level. But no, I love Talladega, coming here. You know, it's just a good track. Love the race fans. They really get into it. And we've been fortunate. We won a lot of races here in Cup, Xfinity, ARCA, so we're blessed. So let's see if we can do it again Sunday. That's our plan.
We're not 100% locked in. I think Kyle might be and Austin's going to be, but how do you feel about the effort for the Cup cars here today?
Good. These guys have really put a lot of work and a lot of effort in since the last Speedway race. Really have to focus a lot on this fuel mileage deal, you know, and having the fuel at the right time, you know, which isn't the good old racing like we used to do, but it is what it is.
Always good to see you, Richard.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Richard Childress hanging out here at Talladega. That just has a ring to it, guys.
It does. He's been known to visit Victory Lane a time or 10, 11, whatever that is. RC and his cars over the years have produced a lot of speed, produced a lot of wins, and obviously fan favorites when the RC bunch comes to this big racetrack.
He mentioned back in 1969. Let's go back and talk about that. For newer NASCAR fans, he mentioned the boycott. And what that was when they built this Mammoth Speedway. It's the same track. It's the same layout. And the speeds were incredible back in those days. They still are to this day, but especially back in 1969. So a group of the drivers that were running then the Grand National Circuit said, you know, this is just too unsafe. We're not going to do this. That's when Bill France, Sr., the founder of NASCAR, said, we're putting on a race with or without you. And he recruited and got different drivers, different types of cars. They're all stock cars, but lower class cars than what was the Grand National or Cup cars then. And they came out and they still put on a great race. And Richard Brickhouse went to Victory Lane. His one and only Cup Series win was here on that day with the quote-unquote boycott from the regulars. And after that, they never have boycotted another race.
Never again. Ryan Blaney has just turned in the fourth fastest lap, 52.829, 181.264 miles an hour. That bumps Christopher Bell, who was 10th, the previous car to qualify. So, right now on the racetrack, here comes William Byron, the red, white, and blue Valvoline colors, taking the green flag. And, of course, you know, William Byron, he's just trying to put a Hendrick Motorsports car inside of the top 10. Remember, the top 10 will re-qualify. The winner of that one will lead us to green. But William Byron right now we're looking at on the racetrack. We'll see what his Chevrolet has to do after William takes the checkered flag. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, the last two cars left to qualify in round one.
Alex Bowman from Hendrick Motorsports is currently 16th out there. Chase Elliott a little further down. He's 27th on the leaderboard. As Denny Hamlin pulls on the racetrack, we look over into turn number 4. The driver on the qualifying lap is William Byron, trying to bust into the top 10. Here he comes down the short straightaway, heads for the tri-oval. Then he got to go all the way past the tri-oval, back to the next short straightaway.
Checker flag is waving at the start-finish line for William Byron. Let's see what he does. He crosses the start-finish line. 15th overall for William Byron. Some folks thought he may be inside of the top 10, but he'll miss the mark just by that much. 53.028 seconds, 180.584 miles per hour as Denny Hamlin is coming up to speed in his blue and white progressive Toyota, taking the high lane through turns 3 and 4, trying to get all the momentum he can as he'll drop that car to the bottom of the tri-oval and then take the green flag for his first lap of qualifying.
That will lock Chris Buescher into the next round of qualifying. So 2/3 of the Roush Fenway Keselowski cars are going to go run for the pole here in just a little while once we wrap up the round 1 qualifying and then get everybody lined up to go out for the final 10.
Denny taking an interesting approach. Most drivers, when they come through the tri-oval, as they come through, they will slowly angle their car and take their car to the double yellow line at the bottom. Denny, when he took the green flag, was up against the outside wall. Let's see if that'll pay dividends for him on the racetrack.
Small little things you do, and then he dives race for turn 1. That's the line Denny ran. He's already making his way through turns 3 and 4, right on the double yellow line to driver's left that separates the banking from the flat apron of the racetrack. Here comes the blue and white Progressive Toyota for Denny Hamlin coming back to the tri-oval.
He is against the double yellow line at the bottom. Here they come now to the start-finish line. Denny Hamlin going to complete his qualifying lap, 13th overall, 52.983 seconds, 180.737 miles per hour.
And that'll lock Joey Logano into the final round of qualifying. And we've got ourselves Ty Gibbs currently on the bubble in 10th, and Kyle Larson on the racetrack. Here's Larson in turns 3 and 4, coming up off of the corner, coming to the green flag to begin his 2.66-mile journey around the Talladega Superspeedway under the stopwatch.
Ty Gibbs on the bubble. The lap of Kyle Larson will dictate whether Kyle goes to round 2 or Ty Gibbs goes to round 2. Zane Smith, the fastest of everyone right now at 52.661 seconds, 181.842 miles per hour. And Alex, just looking at this Hendrick Motorsports qualifying effort, confidence is not high that Kyle will be contending for the pole position.
No, and even he said that a moment ago on his interview that he was doing down there on the pit lane just a moment ago. He said somewhere around 13th to 14th is where he guessed that he would end up. But we'll wait and see if the car can find a little more speed in it, maybe surprise him just a bit as he makes his way up off turn number 4.
Kyle Larson, that blue and white HendrickCars.com entry, will come to the bottom of the racetrack. And again, Kyle Larson sees the checkered flag waving at the start-finish line, and we'll see what Kyle Larson will get in his qualifying effort. 25th overall, 53.211, 179.963 seconds, or miles per hour, that is, and Kyle Larson will not be making his way into round 2. The 10 that will requalify and will run for the pole are Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, and Ty Gibbs.
From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
We are under the green flag. Listen up, NASCAR fans. Now's the time to turn your love of racing into big-time prizes. Because NASCAR Fantasy Live is your fast lane to bragging rights.
Furious racing here.
Pick 5 drivers each week of the season. Then complete additional challenges to stack points. All for your shot at the grand prize.
So let's get this party started.
For official rules and to learn more, visit NASCAR.com/fantasy and sign up today.
We welcome you back to Talladega Superspeedway on an overcast Saturday here in the Central Time Zone. We're closing in on 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're listening to us on the East Coast, get ready for lunch over there as you approach the 12 o'clock hour.
Yeah. It's one of those situations. This is something different than we have had most of the qualifying speedways. We get a second round. We get 10 more guys that get to go and put them in order by their speed from slowest to fastest. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Will indeed. One of those drivers is Austin Cindric, who's got a chance to run and sit on the pole in the Jack Links 500. He's with Jason Toy.
Yeah, we always talk about Austin and his prowess when it comes to the road course racing, but it's been super speedway racing for him too that's been very successful, and great qualifying effort by the Roush Yates engines and the Fords up here. Do you have any more left in it to get it up to that front row?
Yeah, I think the field's close enough that I think a refire after everybody's warm should be interesting to see where we stack up. I thought we put a pretty decent lap together. I think there's a few more adjustments to get the thing to get some wheel out of it. So see how it goes. But quick statement, R4 Mustang obviously fast, and hopefully get us in a good spot for tomorrow's show.
All right, there you go. Austin Cindric got another opportunity to go qualify. And Todd, we talk about the communication between drivers and spotters and being able to see those race cars around this racetrack. Austin's got the best view, I think, for his spotter to be able to go out there with that fluorescent yellow. You can see this thing anywhere around this racetrack.
That's a big deal for these spotters, especially at this Talladega, the biggest racetrack we've got at 2.66 miles. You're looking at, you can be a mile away from trying to spot this thing. And, oh, by the way, I'm asking that spotter to tell me if I'm clear by 3 inches. It's such a small window for them to work in, but that neon yellow of the Menards paint scheme, definitely one that stands out, and you don't have to search for it.
From Talladega Super Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Get ready! The 3rd annual NASCAR Day Give-a-thon is just days away. Join us on May 13th to support hundreds of nonprofit organizations across the country to raise much-needed funds for their missions. When you give to the NASCAR Day Give-a-thon, you will be eligible for some special incentive prizes and matching donation opportunities to make the most of your gift. Visit NASCARDayGiveathon.org and learn how you can join us. That's NASCARDayGiveathon.org.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back here at Talladega Super Speedway as they're getting set to line up the final 10 cars here in just a moment. They're going to do the exact same process over. Line those 10 cars up single file. They'll have to take off, go 50 yards up to the next awaiting official, and then they'll release them out onto the racetrack.
Let's talk a little bit about that. You brought it up earlier that I didn't really get into the specifics of that. So what we used to do when we came to these places, you're trying to eliminate all the drag you can in the car. Well, one of the ways you eliminate drag is to get the brake pads off of the rotors when they're sitting there. If you've just run around this place with the brake pads just touching the rotors like they would on a normal racetrack, that's drag. That could be 1/10 of a second slower to actually have to run those against those brake pads. So we used to push the brake pads away from the rotors just to make it free roll better and get a little more speed out of it. NASCAR felt that was a safety concern. We had a driver come to pit road without the brake pad pedal pump back up, and when they went to stop, the pedal went long because the brake pads were pushed back. Now NASCAR mandates the cars have a start line on pit road. They have to accelerate up and come to a stop using their brakes at a second official, as you said, 50 yards down the way, to make sure that all the brake pads have been pushed out to the rotors and an equal level playing field for all the drivers.
Right now, 10 cars are getting ready to engage in round 2 of qualifying, and in the category of you never know who you're going to bump into at a racetrack, a member of the NASCAR alumni program is with us, a gentleman that has 883 starts in the NASCAR Cup Series. We're speaking of 84-year-old Dave Marcus of Wausau, Wisconsin, clad with wingtips. He's with our Steve Post.
Yes, he is. We just talked to Richard Childress a little bit ago, and when you hang with Richard Childress, you hang with all the cool guys. I spin around, and here's Dave Marcus down here. Dave, how are you? Welcome back to the racetrack. Always good to see you.
Well, I'm doing okay.
That is good.
Something over here by Childress to see what's going on, see if he needs another test driver or something.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I used to do all of our testing here for Earnhardt.
I bet he can get in there and get it done right now, probably, too. Couldn't he, Richard?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's it. Dave, when you come to Talladega, what is a memory, what is a thought coming to this massive super speedway?
Well, I mean, you know, it's a nice place. I've always loved Talladega. It's smooth, it's wide. And it's like Dale Earnhardt said when they came with those restrictor plates, and I know he asked them a lot of times, why do we got to run these damn things? And they said, well, we're concerned with the safety of the race fans. Dale said, build that damn wall a little taller and throw that restrictor plate away and let us race.
Yeah. He and I offered Bill France Jr. We'd bring our bulldozers and cut the corners down, just get rid of the restrictor plate.
Yeah. That's crazy. It really, truly.
Well, I mean, that's what Mr. Bill built it for speed.
Exactly. So, and we're slowing them down. But anyhow, what's up to these days? What's keeping you occupied? What's keeping you busy here these days, Dave?
Well, I still got my shop yet, and I do a little bit of monkeying around there, and I got a dump truck, and I still got my Terramite tractor and a backhoe and a big garden. I still cut firewood and try to do a little fishing and turkey hunting, so there's plenty to do.
Plenty to do. Always good to see you, Dave.
Thank you very much.
There we go. Dave Marcus and Richard Childress hanging out, sitting on the wall here at Talladega.
It's fitting. In 35 NASCAR Cup Series seasons, Dave Marcus, the last time he led a lap in Cup Series racing was October 15th of the year 2000. And he did it right here at Talladega. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Get ready! The third annual NASCAR Day Give-a-thon is just days away. Join us on May 13th to support hundreds of nonprofit organizations across the country to raise much-needed funds for their missions. When you give to the NASCAR Day Give-a-thon, you will be eligible for some special incentive prizes and matching donation opportunities to make the most of your gift. Visit NASCARDayGiveathon.org and learn how you can join us. That's NASCARDayGiveathon.org.
NASCAR fans, get ready to feel the rush. The official NASCAR Tracks app is your ultimate race day companion. From managing your event tickets to navigating with wayfinding maps, event schedules, and facility info, it's got everything you need to make your experience unforgettable.
Ready, green flag, green
Bring
flag.
your headphones and dive into the action like never before with live scanner access.
Got a race to win, my man.
Listen in on driver and team communications at select NASCAR Tracks. Download NASCAR Tracks now on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Here at Talladega Superspeedway, the final 10 cars set to run for pole position. They are going to be lined up, and they're, halfway done getting those first 5 cars lined up. The next 5 now are being pushed by their teams down there as well. Kyle Busch's car is now being pushed along, and Jason, I see you walking along with crew chief Randall Burnett down there.
Yeah, he is. He's helping push the, he doesn't do just everything on the computer. He actually gets physical down here and helps push the race car down. So let's talk a little bit about what the crew chief has to do here in between that first round and the second round. What are you allowed to do to the race car to try to find a little more out of it?
You're not really allowed to do too much. You know what I mean? We can do some air pressure stuff. That's really about it. We'll make sure all of our temperatures are good, make sure all that's good when he launches off the line, make sure everything's at the temperatures we want it at, so when we run our lap, it's at optimal everything, right? Yeah. So really that's about it. Just kind of keep track with our air pressures and make sure we're good there too.
Well, you're guaranteed at least a top 10 starting spot here. So how long does it take to convert the qualifying car to a race car for tomorrow?
It's really not bad here. Like you're allowed to do rounds. You can raise the car, lower the car, whatever. Obviously everybody's slammed on the ground for qualifying, trying to get the least amount of drag in the car that they can have. So we'll race the car up so it drives a little better tomorrow with the pack, and do a little bit here and there, but nothing major anymore. It's not like the old days where we'd completely rebuild the car after qualifying or anything. We're not allowed to anyways, but it's pretty straightforward.
Harder the crew chief Kyle Busch or your son when he's driving at Millbridge?
I don't know. I think my son might be harder than Kyle these days because he gets out. He's pretty fired up. So, but it's been a lot of fun going up there with him, and a lot of fun working with Kyle, obviously.
All right, have fun.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Randall Burnett, crew chief for Kyle Busch. They're going on to the second round.
And indeed they are, and they're trying to snap a 66-race winless streak. The last time Kyle Busch went to victory lane was at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway in 2023.
As qualifying is underway now for the final 10 cars. We're going to find out top 10 starters, including the pole winner for the Jack Links 500. First of those to get a lap in will be Ty Gibbs as he comes across the line. He puts in a lap at 52.952 seconds. and that translates to 180.846 miles per hour. When you look back at his first run, that's just a tick slower than what he ran his first time out.
Joey Logano is on the racetrack right now. He'll bring that Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang to the bottom of the tri-oval. He'll take the green flag, and Joey will take that Ford off into turn number 1, hugging the bottom of the racetrack. He is the second of the 10 to go, and as Alex mentioned, Ty Gibbs the fastest so far. Again, Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, and the aforereferenced Joey Logano. The rest of the cars that will go in this lap or this round of qualifying.
It never ceases to amaze on how these drivers drive these cars. And how many times have we been here at Talladega and drivers will say, anybody can do this. My grandmother can get out and qualify a car here. There's so much more that goes into it than what everybody thinks. We heard him a moment ago, Todd mentioned that you got to hit your shifting points correctly with the transmission and the gear shifting that you got to do. We're to a point now, aerodynamics are everything. Drivers put their left hand kind of on the side of the window net there to try to get the air to not come into the cockpit and create drag. There's so many things they have to do.
They do. They all say it's all the car, it's all everything, but they have an integral part of it. Definitely getting the shifts right, getting the traction, the launch that you get here off of pit road. It's a big deal. So as these guys go, it does. The driver has an impact. We heard Austin Dillon talk about getting the car where he could unwind the wheel, where he doesn't turn the front wheels as hard because that's scrubbing speed out of it. They're giving some feedback, trying to put together a team effort to have a good qualifying effort.
Joey Logano, 0.2 quicker than Ty Gibbs. He'll go to the number 1 spot, 181.708 miles an hour. Chris Buescher is halfway down the Alabama gang super stretch, trying to win Roush Fenway Keselowski a pole position for the Jack Links 500.
I mentioned Ty Gibbs did not back up what he did on his first lap in round number 1. Joey Logano actually did go a little quicker here in round number 2. So Logano ups the ante just a bit as the red, white, and blue TA, the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, comes down to the line. Chris Buescher will get the checkered flag, and we'll see what kind of lap Chris Buescher will have.
As Josh Berry comes up to speed on the back straightaway, Chris Buescher takes the checkered flag, and he will go to position number 2. 181.498 miles an hour, 52.761 seconds. So that is 6/100ths of a second slower than the Logano car.
It's actually a pickup from what he did in his first qualifying lap in round 1 as well, but not quite as much as Joey Logano did. Josh Berry will come to the line. He'll take the green flag. We'll tell you all about his lap in a moment. First, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Motor Racing Network live at Talladega Super Speedway as we qualify and get ready to find out who's going to be the pole winner for the Jack Links 500. I'm Alex Hayden. Alongside is Mike Bagley and championship-winning crew chief Todd Gordon. On the pit lane, Steve Post and Jason Toy.
Right now, Josh Berry is on the racetrack. He has taken the green flag. We'll see what the Wood brothers can do here at Talladega Super Speedway. Always a special racetrack for those folks and special racetrack for some others that are getting ready to try to lead the field of the green flag tomorrow. Jack Links 500 qualifying, getting down to the nitty-gritty with Josh Berry crossing the start-finish line.
He'll go to the number 3 position of the 4 drivers that have taken time. So Joey Logano is currently the fastest, and he'll be the provisional pole sitter. We're still 6 drivers to go. You've got Chris Buescher second, Josh Berry now third, and Ty Gibbs is fourth.
So you've got 1 Toyota in the top 10. You're going to have 2 Chevrolets in the top 10. The rest are Fords. That Roush Yates horsepower on full display. Speaking of one of the Chevrolet teams, Austin Dillon, that legendary number 3 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, is on the clock. And Alex, whenever we come to Talladega, it's very difficult to not remember those that helped created legacies here. And the Earnhardt legacy at Talladega is second to none.
It's truly remarkable what Dale Earnhardt was able to do here. And this is the place, I think, where a lot of people started saying, and tongue-in-cheek, but almost trying to make the point, Dale can see air. The way he was able to manipulate the draft here at Talladega Super Speedway, he was arguably the best to ever do it, and with his record, well, it's second to none.
We are coming up on his birthday on Tuesday. Matter of fact, we'll have a special on NASCAR Live. We're going to do some reminiscing about the Intimidator and all that he was able to do, as Dale Sr.'s birthday will happen on Tuesday. So we'll clue you in more during our broadcast of the Jack Links 500 tomorrow. Austin Dillon now wraps up his time.
And it's a good lap, but not good enough to knock Joey Logano off of the top of the leaderboard. It'll be second best for Austin Dillon. So Dillon will now move to second. That'll push Buescher back to third, Josh Berry to fourth, and Ty Gibbs rounds out the top five.
Alex, whenever we come to every single race weekend, we'll go through the garage, we'll talk to people, and there's a short list of drivers that develops as people we need to keep tabs on, people that perhaps maybe folks think could drive into victory lane. The driver on the racetrack right now that has just taken the green flag, I would put into the sleeper category pick. A lot of folks underestimate him on tracks like this, but you need to consider Austin Cindric. He has been in position to win several of these drafting track races, and I would put him on the list tomorrow to consider.
He's a two-time Cup Series winner, once on the 1.25-mile oblong-shaped Worldwide Technology Raceway. His first win and the second of his the two that I mentioned was at Daytona. He's a Daytona 500 champion. So to your point, he understands also how to race at these tracks. And it takes more than just being a daredevil type of driver, Todd Gordon, to win this way.
Yeah, Austin Cindric is very intellectual. He thinks a lot. I've worked around him on the Xfinity side back then, but I've been in the shop with him. He's very into it mentally. He studies hard. He understands the moves. I feel like speedway racing at this point is a chess game. You've got to see the move that's three ahead of you, not the move you've got to make right now. I think he understands that and has great tutelage with Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney as teammates. He's actually excelled very well here.
And, of course, a tip of the cap to Brian Wilson, his crew chief, as well. Right now, Austin Cindric turning in the fourth fastest lap of the six that have qualified so far. Next car on the racetrack is Ryan Blaney. Alex, I noticed when he left pit road, he went to nail the gas, spun the tires a little bit. The back end got away from him. He gathered it back in, but not the usual launch that we're used to seeing him take off pit road.
No, and what happened, and this is not uncommon, and I don't want anybody to think it's a safety issue because it quite honestly is not. We had heavy rains come through here in the Talladega area late last night. When you exit pit road, there's a series of about 5 small mud puddles as you're exiting the pit lane going up onto the racetrack. I was watching that a moment ago, too. I saw Blaney kick the car a little bit sideways. He was already up into second gear, hammered down, and he hit one of those puddles, and the back of the car just twitched. Maybe a foot and a half to driver's right, but that small amount, when you're coming through the gearbox, Todd, can be big.
Well, drivers try to stack up every bit of acceleration to get the speed on their up-to-speed lap. If you've got to get that thing sideways and it's spinning the tires, it's not driving itself forward. Puts you a little deficit.
On the racetrack, Ryan Blaney has just turned in the sixth fastest lap, 52.833 seconds, 181.250 miles an hour. On the racetrack right now, the final Chevrolet to go in round number 2. Kyle Busch is coming into the tri-oval to take the green flag with 2 more Fords waiting to go, Ryan Preece and Zane Smith. Here comes Kyle. He'll take the green flag and start his lap of qualifying.
Takes his Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 right to the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 1 as he flashes by the sold-out infield to driver's left. He hugs the double yellow line right at the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch will let the car stick right on the bottom of the track. Doesn't let it drift at all on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Pretty good look in turns 1 and 2 for Kyle Busch.
It looks like he's got a good lap brewing right now. He is working his way off the end of the back straightaway. Of course, Joey Logano, the driver that everyone is chasing right now, his time and speed, 52.700 seconds, 181.708 miles an hour. Here comes Kyle Busch into the tri-oval. All eyes are on that number 8 car for Richard Childress Racing. Does Kyle Busch have enough to go to the top of the leaderboard?
Checkered flag is out. Kyle Busch does go to the top by 3 1/1000ths of a second.
Wow.
Better than Joey Logano. It's astonishing. Kyle Busch runs a 52.697 second lap. Logano, 52.700. It blows me away time and time again, Mike. You come to a 2.66-mile racetrack, and they're less than the blink of an eye apart.
You're right. You cannot blink your eye in the time that separates the top two right now, and it's so precise. This mammoth racetrack, this large racetrack, and it comes down to that minute amount of measurement.
100th of a mile an hour. 100th of a mile an hour. I mean, we talk about it in seconds, and I love that, but to look at the miles an hour, 181.718 to a 181.708. The second digit. Really incredible.
It really is. And Kyle Busch has gone to the top of the leaderboard. 2 drivers left to qualify. 2 really fast race cars. As a matter of fact, they were first and second in round 1. Ryan Preece is the first one to do so. He's on his hot lap as he exits turn number 4.
Ryan Preece for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, flying the Celsius colors here this weekend at Talladega. Here comes Ryan Preece. Zane Smith has already left the pit lane. He's on the backstretch. Here comes Ryan Preece to the checkered flag. Does he have enough for Kyle Busch?
Ryan Preece will not. He'll be third. He runs identical time as Joey Logano. So Logano and Preece over a lap at Talladega run the exact same time. Kyle Busch still the fastest without Zane Smith, the only driver left.
Throw Ryan Preece into Uncle Todd's mile-per-hour equation right there. It's tight now. All eyes and all focus are on Zane Smith. Front Row Motorsports won the pole last year, both races. Here comes Zane Smith. He'll take the green flag, and perhaps maybe it'll be Kyle Busch or Zane Smith leading the field to the green flag tomorrow in the Jack Links 500.
It's got Title Max on side of the car. The Title Max entries, red, white, and blue for Front Row Motorsports. Of course, the crew chief, Ryan Bergenti. He makes his way over onto the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. We know he's got the Roush Yates horsepower. We know Front Row Motorsports knows how to win the pole at Talladega. Their sister car won the pole here the last 2 races at Talladega. And right now, Zane Smith, the Huntington Beach, California native, is in turn number 4.
Zane Smith pulls that forward to the bottom of the racetrack. Here they come now out of turn number 4. It's either going to be Kyle Busch or Zane Smith on pole for tomorrow's race. Here's Zane, bottom of the racetrack through the tri-oval with the checkered flag waving at the start-finish line.
Zane Smith flashes by, and he'll grab pole position. Zane Smith is on the pole for the Jack Links 500 here at Talladega Super Speedway. A heck of a drive for Zane Smith and that race team. He'll win the pole position. Kyle Busch will start second. Joey Logano and Ryan Preece will be in row number 2, with Austin Dillon starting 5th. Chris Buescher 6th, Austin Cindric 7th, Josh Berry 8th, and in row number 5, positions 9 and 10 will be Ryan Blaney and Ty Gibbs. From Talladega Super Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Annual NASCAR Day Give-a-thon is just days away. Join us on May 13th to support hundreds of nonprofit organizations across the country to raise much-needed funds for their missions. When you give to the NASCAR Day Give-a-thon, you will be eligible for some special incentive prizes and matching donation opportunities to make the most of your gift. Visit NASCARDayGiveathon.org and learn how you can join us. That's NASCARDayGiveathon.org.
Here at the tower. What a lap he put down. He actually went faster than he did in his first lap in round number 1, and that was the fastest lap of that entire round. So Zane Smith did his job. The race team did their job. Congratulations, Ryan Bergenti and that entire team, Mike. They put together a fast race car.
If you look at the last year for Zane Smith, this is a race car driver that went from having a solid ride to be setting adrift. And, you know, the word in the garage last year, well, he's going to Spire. He's going to Front Row. He's going to do this. This came together at not the last minute, but it came together later in the process, much to his disliking. He has fit in quite well with this race team. That team has found something on these big racetracks on qualifying day, Todd, and I know it's hard to find. They have found it.
Yeah, they have, and they did this last year with both Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland. They were really good at Speedway qualifying. They had really good Speedway cars. And I think it doesn't surprise me to see Zane back here and comfortable. He won truck championships with Front Row Motorsports, so he had history with the organization. Opportunity to get out there was at Spire through a Trackhouse kind of connection, but kind of got that opportunity with the extra added team to Front Row to come back home and find some settling for him.
And he's really put together a nice season to this point, has Zane Smith. He's a driver that is just kind of figuring out his sea legs and has comfortable footing in the setting around him. But he's got his first career pole, and Steve Post is with him.
He does, career first pole. Zane, when you look at the career path you've had, the journey, the ups and downs, what does this mean to you to check another thing off? You're a Cup Series pole winner.
Yeah, it's super cool to have that, but just really a shout out to the whole team here. Incredibly fast Title Max Ford. FRM just always brings so much speed to these races, and it's so cool to say I've gotten a pole now in the Cup Series. But before our 1 week break, this whole team has been doing just an incredible job. So hopefully we keep it going throughout the year. Long stretch ahead of us, but a good start to start this stretch.
You say keep it going throughout the stretch. How do you keep it going through the race tomorrow? How aggressive are you? How do you keep that track position?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long race, like you said, tomorrow, but lots of fuel saving. So the field's going to filter and rotate a lot tomorrow. So just trying to stay on top of it, putting ourselves in position to hopefully be rolling at the end, and that's all you could ask for.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love it. Zane Smith, career first pole, and he did it here this afternoon at Talladega Superspeedway.
He will lead the field to the green flag tomorrow in the Jack Links 500. We invite you to join us. NASCAR Live Race Day begins tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, at the bottom of the hour, we've got coverage of the ARCA Menard Series General Tire 200. Later this afternoon, the NASCAR Xfinity Series Ag Pro 300 can be heard right here on the Motor Racing Network at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For Todd Gordon and Alex Hayden, along with Steve Post and Jason Toy, I'm Mike Bagley. Thank you so much for joining us for our coverage of NASCAR Cup Series qualifying for the Jack Links 500 at Talladega.